everyone, and welcome again to Mission Alive. Whenever I think back on my time in Papua New Guinea, it always connects with the children, with the schools that I taught in. And as I was thinking the other day, one time came to my mind when we had a very special time at secondary school, Sacred Heart Hagita. We called it War Games, and that's what it was, between the Papua New Guinea Defence Force and the Australian Defence Force. They came and they practiced at war. It's very sad to think that we have to do that, but they did, and it brought joy to a lot of people, not like real war does. So the Papua New Guinean soldiers were on one side of Hagita in the plantation, the coconut plantation, and the Australian soldiers were on the school side of Hagita, over at the village, Gabagabuna, and they had to meet. They had to meet in the plantation of the cocoa plantation. Hagita was coconuts, and Hagita School was on the edge of that. At one time, Hagita School had been part of the coconut plantation, but it had been brought by the mission for the school alone, so it belonged independently. So we had these soldiers coming, the Australian soldiers coming this way and the Papua New Guinean soldiers coming this way, all quite secretly and quietly. One day, one of the fathers was driving back from Alatau, the town, to Hagita, and one of the boys stopped him on the side of the road. It was one of our ex-students, so father stopped for him. "Can I come with you to the school, father?" "What do you want to come to the school for? You're finished school, you've got nothing there now. What are you doing?" He said, "Father, I'm a spy. I'm a spy for the, spy for the Papua New Guinea Army." He had to get in and hear what the Australian soldiers were talking about. So he hopped onto the truck and father dropped him and let him go on his ways. Then at night time, the girls came and said to sister, "Sister, there's some boys hiding in the banana grove just behind the girls' dormitory." So sister walked over very slowly and very quietly, and as she got close, she heard a voice say, "Sister, don't come any closer. We are Australian soldiers moving closer to the Papua New Guinea camp." So sister just turned quietly and walked back past the girls' dormitory, spoke to the girls, and went off. Soldiers would hide in the drains along the roads, and as the small grade 7 boys passed, they would call them and say, "Hey, get us a drink of water." So they would give them their canteens. Grade 7s would run off, fill it up at the tank, come back, quietly sit down by the side of the road and drop the canteen into the drain, and up would come a little bar of chocolate. So everybody was having this lovely time interacting with the Australian soldiers who were moving through Hagita. Then something went wrong. Well, it wasn't a bad thing that went wrong. For us and for the children at Hagita, it was something really good. The Papua New Guinean soldiers moved in quickly, and instead of meeting at the Gili Gili plantation, they met at Hagita plantation, right on the big oval. The school buildings were here, the housing was here, and here on this side was the big Hagita Oval, known for its size and the wonders it does on sports days and carnivals. Here was the meeting place. So suddenly there were helicopters landing, taking stretchers on soldiers onto the plane who'd been wounded. It was so exciting. Everybody was having a very exciting time. It was hard to keep the younger boys, the grade 7s, out of the action. They would have liked to have been in and part of it all, but they weren't. So we were all sitting round the edge on our side of the oval, and the Papua New Guinean soldiers were coming in and finally defeated the Australian soldiers. So it was a great day. The Papua New Guinea Defence Force had defeated, in games, war games, the Australian soldiers. It was a very exciting time, but it makes you think. And the women in the village said, "Sister, it was just like before, just like the true times." They walked through our gardens, but this time they walked very carefully. Before, they just walked over our gardens, the Australians, the Americans, the Japanese. They didn't have time to look where they were putting their feet, and their feet just went onto our crops. But this time they walked gently. They walked gently through our gardens. They spoke to us. They were nice. So that's war games, but real war is very destructive, as we know from now our time in Ukraine. So always keep war in your prayers, that our world might truly have peace. especially at the time when we are thinking of the Prince of Peace. Goodbye now, and God bless you.